Are you being dragged or are you driven? Yo, what's good? It's Talks. Here we have talks about deep thoughts where you can also talk. Today, I'm going to be exploring a topic that I've thought about for the past week. It comes from a quote that my dad said to me once. It was something along the lines of being dragged and driven. Those are the main points that I got from it. I decided to actually think about this. What does being dragged or driven mean? Or what instances is someone dragged or is someone driven? There are a couple of instances where you can identify when someone is being dragged. It could be a lot of things. It could be, for an example, a person in school who gets the highest grades in class or in the school. It could be they're doing well in school because of their parents. They either have strict parents or something along those lines. It could be they are doing well because they have competition with someone in class. It could be they have competition with someone, a sibling at home. The fight for validation from the teachers or the principal, or just being attached to living in a meritocracy. Now, let me say this after saying everything about being dragged. Being dragged is neither a good thing or a bad thing. Neither is being driven. Well, I'd like to say being driven is more of a good thing, but however, what does being dragged actually mean? When someone is dragged, that means that the reason for why they do something is a reason that they find other than from themselves. However, it's not a good or a bad thing. For example, let's say a family. The man of the family, his purpose is to fulfill his family. Therefore, he's being dragged by his family. However, it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just a way of life. It's a way of living. There's instances where being dragged is good, and there's instances where being dragged is bad. In my personal opinion, it doesn't, as I said, it's not a good or a bad thing. However, I think I am more driven. More driven. I'm not going to say fully driven because I think there's still some things that drag me. However, I think that I am a more driven individual in terms of my goals and doing well in school and things of that nature, because how I know that I used to be dragged was there was one instance where we had a test. It was in economics. I got the lowest mark in the class, which was 20 out of 40, I think. After getting those marks, it made me feel like it just harmed my ego, because I felt like, how are these guys? I'm smarter than these guys. How are they getting higher marks than me? That's just oblivious. And then I realized, which my dad also addressed it. He said, I just don't like being the dumbass in the room, which is true, or was true. Because let me tell you, right after getting those marks, on the next test, I was in the top 3 in the whole class, 46 out of 50, I think. What's so bad about being the dumbass in the room, or not knowing? There isn't really anything bad. There's a quote I heard, and they say, I didn't lose. I successfully found the wrong way. So either way, losing or being the dumb one in the room is a good thing, in my opinion, because if I'm the dumbest in the room, that means I have a higher capacity to learn. Whether I know and win, that's one win. Whether I losing is also a good thing because I'm learning, I'm being corrected, and now I know the right path. Now, let's talk about being driven. When you're driven, you find reasons to do things within yourself, to push your own personal agenda. An example could be like me. My reason for wanting to do good in school is because I like to learn. I don't know, there's a beauty in learning. I have this sort of addiction to learning where I also like to enlighten others, to teach others what I learn. However, I'm still very stubborn when it comes to what I decide to learn, which is, I've realized, is a bad thing for me to have, because I may just pass up on opportunities to learn about something that could just, change everything. There always needs to be a good reason for me to learn, which I don't think should be a factor. I think I should always just want to learn, just to learn. And that's all I really have to say. But now here's my question to you, the viewer watching this right now. Are you being dragged or are you driven? Comment down below and I'll be sure to read your response to gain your perspective, because I love gaining perspectives. And yeah, this has been Talks. Over now.